healing no longer then becomes the primary. Wearing the cloak of the healer becomes the primary. This is the danger, one of the dangers. The most common dangers, and again I will say this is not meant in any way, shape, or form as offense to the Reiki Association. From what I've read of the Reiki Association, their heart is in the right place, their intent is in the right place. Right? And they can't, it's impossible for them to police the tens of thousands of healers that have been issued certificates. Mm-hmm. My wife and I run a crystal and mineral store upstairs. We have some of the finest crystals. Right? We have wonderful healing wands, totally natural. We have some man-made ones as well. We have good quality. I check each wand myself. Okay? You would imagine that I would have many healers coming into my store. I don't. The majority of people that buy from me they're collectors, or they're people that don't belong to any form of association that are looking for the healing attributes of a specific crystal. And I was surprised at first that I get very, very few Lao Chi masters or Reiki masters coming into my store. Very few. You know, and the Fox Valley in Wisconsin, we have quite a number of Reiki masters. Well, I find that one of the reasons that occurs, that that's not happening, is because there are certain Reiki master teachers who have perceived that because they are Reiki masters, they have been anointed above others, and they now have the right to hold inquisition against another. And in their arrogance, they hold courts, they proclaim others to be evil because they may not like the way someone conducts oneself. And to me, that doesn't harm me. I've had people throwing rocks at me ever since I had my first visions 57 years ago. Okay? It concerns me these days because it's taking a toll on my wife. We find that there are members of the Reiki Association in this area who hold meetings telling people that our beautiful store is evil. People have even come into the store and claimed that I am the spawn of the devil. And they know this because they are Reiki master teachers. You were here one day when that happened.
Yeah. Now, why do they not like you so much?
Probably because I'm very outspoken. Probably because I'm not politically correct. But I would say probably the general reason is because I have never belonged to an organization. I make no alliances. I walk my own path. And when asked, I speak the truth as I see the truth. That does not mean I make war on another.
So unless if you belong to their group?
I think what really happens, it's basically human nature. For thousands of years, we have worn patches from our temples. And an example would be someone yesterday would scream at someone and call them a sinner. And tell them that they will burn in hell. Now that person today has switched allegiance and now belongs to another temple. And they no longer believe in sin. But now they have elevated themselves even further above another. And now they scream, "You will get your karma." And they claim that they belong to another temple now. But do they really? They still wear the same cloak that they wore when they were calling someone a sinner. They've just rubbed the tag off of it. And now they use different words with the same vicious intent from the past to judge their brothers and sisters. What I find most appalling about that, or sad, like those women that came in the other day and didn't like my store policies and proclaimed me to be a thief and the spawn of the devil. These people hold meetings. And though they do not have even begin to come close to having the experience I have within healing, okay, and the success, they will hold meetings and bring terror into the hearts of other people and deny those people the healing that they need, even if they are rotting from cancer or AIDS, when they know that they have not had any success themselves. Instead, they will strike fear into that person. And how many people lie dead today that could have been healed? Because a person has taken a righteous name, like the Reiki Association, and proclaimed that because they wear the title of teacher, they have the right to hold inquisition. And to you members of the Reiki Association who are of the hierarchy of the Reiki Association, I would ask you, to listen to this. If this cancer exists in central Wisconsin, in the numbers that it exists in, I can assure you that it exists elsewhere. It is no different than the Taliban hijacking Islam. And you should address this issue, because there are people who are suffering and their pain could be removed. And the people who you have given title to, who cannot relieve the pain of these people, deny them the right to seek people like myself out who are independents, even though I can assist them. I'm very good at removing pain from the human body. And they strike fear into these people by proclaiming darkness where there is no darkness. This is the danger. That when you wear a patch, you will cluster in groups and you will repeat the same actions of your ancestors. You will create doctrine, and from doctrine you will create persecution. And you will fall into the same trap that your ancestors fell in. You will not liberate yourself from the tribes. You will not liberate yourself from hatred. Instead, you will find another way to justify your hatred. Did that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think a healer should be?
A healer can be many, many different things. I can only answer that question for you in relationship to what is right for me and what I ask of my students. I don't believe that everything I say is truth. I believe it is truth in relationship to what I see in this moment. I believe the first aspect or the first attribute of a healer is to begin to recognize truth. And when I use this word truth, I'm not talking about the truth in another person. I'm talking about the truth within oneself. I believe that I am on a spiritual path. But it's my spiritual path. And I can assure you there are many people out there who believe they have great evidence that I am not on a spiritual path. Okay? As a matter of fact, every time somebody gets a little upset at me or at our policies upstairs at the store, they proclaim I have no right to be a healer, that I have no right to proclaim I am on a path. Well, I don't run around the world claiming to everybody that I'm on a spiritual path. The reality is I believe everything in the universe is on a spiritual path, every atom that exists. My path is my own path. My path, I believe, is a path of truth about self-discovery. In my particular case, I recognized at a very, very early age that I could feel things without touching them, and I used to wonder why the big people used to have to touch everything to feel it, why they had to put their dirty hands on everything. When I was a young man, the first time I attempted to make love to a woman, I freaked her out because I thought it was much better to what I understand now is the etheric field, to touch the etheric field of the person. And I totally freaked her out, and she ran away. And believe me, she told everybody I was definitely the devil. I totally freaked her out. And geez, I felt like the tiniest little creature after that. I was so embarrassed and so humiliated. But I couldn't deny the truth. I can feel things. And I was very angry at God because, like I said, people were throwing rocks at me because I was a little weird with things.